Frail Fragment is a music podcast, but we talk about movies, entertainment, sports, whatever's on our mind, open stream of consciousness, in awareness, and making it a little comical on the side.
Frail Fragments, Monster Closet.
Hey guys, this is the Monster Closet, episode number 63. It's Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. I just finished doing a podcast with my boy Ace, and I just wasn't really feeling the energy because I've been down for the last couple of days. And, this is supposed to be about open stream of consciousness and whatnot. And I found out some kind of disturbing news a couple of days ago. My sister texted me, who lives at my parents' house, that my parents are losing the house and they're putting up the house for sale. And my sister lives there, and so does my brother, right? So it's shitty, to say the least. It brings up a lot of trauma for me. I just kind of wanted to get on here and voice that. I moved 13 times in my life, and I think it affected me. I never had any structure, really. I never had really any consistency, except for my grandparents. Like, my grandmother was she was amazing. My mom's mom, she raised me up. She taught me a lot about, hard work and stuff. But, she was my rock. And then on the other side, I had my Nona and my Nono, and they're still alive today. And they're calling me because I think my sister's calling them because, my parents they're a lot of things. They have a lot of secrets. And, through therapy, I became more aware of how nature works, I think. And I know there's a knowing there, and when you have a problem, nature shows you your problem. And you could say nature's God, and God is really everything. And I just, my inclination, or my want, or what I want to happen is to help them. But for me it's really hard to trust my parents. They lied to me so many times. They've had so many secrets, where I couldn't tell people this and couldn't tell people that. And it's just really frustrating because my family, my brother he accepts it. He's more accepting, but he has a lot of trauma too that he's, I don't think, dealing with. And my sister's, I think she's had it the worst out of the three of us. But that's her story to share. But as far as I'm concerned, man, I had a good childhood growing up. When we were living at my grandparents' house, because my parents were given a house when they got married. My Nona and my Nono had a house that they rented, and it was at Kennedy and St. Clair, and they gave that to them to live in for the first 4 years of their marriage. And, I was, used to growing up there for the first 4 years of my life. And I would always go to my grandmother's house on, the Danforth, Coxwell and Danforth, 360 Monarch Park. And I always would have a blast there because my grandmother was the best, right? She just never got mad. She was very patient. She was hardworking. I loved being there. I developed a friendship with the people in the community, all the kids in the community. And when my uncle got married, my dad's the oldest, and when Tony got married, the next oldest one, they wanted to tell my parents to kind of get lost. Right now, it's Rosie and Tony's turn to have a turn in that house and kind of build up money. But it's my thought that my parents weren't building up any money, and they eventually bought, or maybe they did, and they put a down payment on a house just down the street at Kennedy and St. Clair area as well. And to have a timeline on that, so that would have been senior kindergarten. So I was like that would be like from 4, I would say. So from 0 to 4, I was at my Nona's house, and then from 4 to 8, I was at this other house that they bought, and then they lost that house. And they put, they weren't really telling anybody, and my parents weren't communicating, and they were fighting, and I guess they weren't paying the bills, right? And they lost the house, and they didn't tell my grandparents, my Nona, and they had something to do with lending them money for that house too. And my Nono took that really hard, because my Nono is he's very practical, he's very hard on people, and that's maybe why, and that's why I really think why they don't want to come to him, because my parents have a lot of pride, and they don't want to be seen as failures, and he'll make you feel like a failure before he helps you, right? So they can't, my mom and my dad, they can't swallow that. And so they let the house go under foreclosure, and we lost all our fucking shit. And I vaguely remember that, but we moved in with my grandmother, and that was the best time of my life. So from, I would say from 9 to 13 to 14, from 9 to 14, so those 5 years were money for me, man. I had the best time. And they didn't really save any money, but we were spending money. We were going to Disney World, we were renting cottages, we were fucking going to, Niagara Falls, and we're going out to eat. My parents were eating steaks and the whole fucking thing, because my parents didn't have a mortgage, and they didn't save a fucking dime. And my uncles and my aunt were putting pressure on my parents because once my grandfather died, in 1989, I think, 89, they put pressure on my grandmother to sell the house, So in 1993, it was bad, right? It was ugly. She sold the house, and she came to live with us because my mom took care of my grandmother as best she could. And my grandmother was used to us, and my grandmother never wanted to leave that house, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end for us, because my grandmother gave my parents fucking $60,000 to put down on their fucking new house, right? And they got a big, nice house on the Coxwell and Danforth area by East York Collegiate. And that house was all kinds of fucked up. My mom had a fucking nervous breakdown when she was having my brother. And my brother was born. And a lot of bad shit happened in that house. And we lost that house. And that was kind of like just crazy. A lot of shit happened, I had a fucking rehearsal jam room in that house. It was gorgeous. I had a fucking beautiful fucking girlfriend. I was in a band, the whole thing, and then the band broke up. The girlfriend and I broke up. My parents lost the fucking house eventually, and again, it was in foreclosure, and I would have to sneak in the house, and I remember the fucking cops showed up, and I was fucking hopping fences and shit just to get my shit. And it's just this is all the while they started renting the rooms out in the house, right? And they're still doing that, by the way. And this is where I'm talking about price to pay, right? Because it started nicely, and then it transgresses to where my dad is being a big shot, and he's renting fucking 3-4 rooms out, because what do they do now? They don't take care of that fucking problem. They buy a cottage. And they just fucked all their credit up. And dude, I'm talking about 13 times we moved. I'm just telling you about a couple of times. Then from there we went to fucking Scarborough. I left my house at fucking 18. I just started couch surfing with friends and shit for 2 years at least, 2 to 3 years. And and that was when Frail Fragment was kind of, throughout this whole process, Frail Fragment was being created, right? But it hasn't taken really lift off. When I was 18, the name was rolling around. My email was frailfragment@hotmail.com. And, I was playing in another band as a DJ, and I wasn't happy and the whole thing. But, I miss playing shows, and I'm trailing off, but we moved fucking a million times. Scarborough, everywhere, dude. It was ridiculous, right? And the thing that kills me is my parents will always, like, if they lend me money, like if they gave me $4,000, I think, for, or let's say $5,000 for my wedding and the couch, and they bought me a couch, and they were like telling me how to fuck it. That's all they've ever given me, and you know, I'll appreciate it, okay, but I mean, if I had the money, I'd give it back, because you know, they'll throw that in our face, and dude, that money cost me so much, because so much more. Because I wasn't allowed to invite who I wanted to the wedding. My mom was trying to control everything. She wanted like her friends over like any of the Lamanna side of the family, and it was just fucking disgusting. And just like me being put through this mill for so long and trying to be manipulated for her to control. And then like, if you don't listen to her, she's gonna punish my kids by not taking them to go see fucking Wiggles in concert and shit like that. It just went really crazy. And you know, I'm just talking to you right now and venting, right? Because I don't want to say to them, you know, you guys went on fucking 3 vacations this year. Or in the last 2 years. You went to fucking Disney World and you brought my sister, my brother, my niece, you and my parents. You never told us about it. You just went. And, you know, I swallow that, right? I swallow that because I don't live with my parents. And, you know, they live with my parents, so they got rewarded that way. That's fine. But when my daughter wants to go to Disney World. I haven't been on fucking vacation since I got married, since my honeymoon. It was 2016. That's 8 years ago. Why? Because I can't afford it. Why? Because things are fucking crazy expensive. I'm slowly sinking in my life. And it's not with any help from my parents. My grandparents, my Nona just gave them $2,000. What do they do with the fucking money? They go to fucking Montreal. They don't give me anything. And again, I'm not expecting anything. But, I mean, then they went to Aruba. They just came back from Aruba, and now they're selling the fucking house? And I don't even think it's their house. They're just fucking liars. And all of this shit is coming to a front for them. And my grandparents, my Nona, maybe my sister called my Nona, I don't know, but my grandparents are calling me, like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? I don't know what to tell them, and why am I getting involved? And it's always me. My problem is, they always want me to fucking stick up for them, but when I do, they don't believe that I did it. So what am I trying to, what's the fight I'm in here? What am I trying to prove? I'm trying to prove to you that I'm not lying to you? I have so much more going on than that. I'm 42 years old. I got fucking 2 kids. I got a wife. Like I said, I live in a small little home, but it's all mine, man. And I'm not renting my place out to fucking all of Korea and all of fucking Japan and everything like that. And the house looks like a fucking dump. And they went crazy and they did not fucking communicate with money. And now they're in a fucking big mess. And I would love to bail them out. And I would really have a strong conversation with my wife to let them use like a line of credit on my house to save their house. But the reason why I won't do it is because I can't trust them. Because they won't tell me the truth. And I'm not going to put my family's fucking lives up to save a bunch of fucking people that have been lying to me this whole time. And it's hard. It's loving boundaries. And that's what I've learned. And when they have to move, I'm going to be there. I'm going to fucking help them that weekend or 2 weekends or whatever it is. And now they got to find a house. They're not going to sell. See, this is why it doesn't make sense. Because if they don't have a place to live now, eventually. So it would make sense to sell the cottage to save the house. But I don't think the house is theirs, maybe. Because my mom desperately wants to keep the cottage. She doesn't want to keep the house. She's retired. And my dad's still working, but I mean, like, I don't know. I have a very strong suspicion that they're getting nothing from the house. They're taking their shit, and they're going to find a place to rent, and they're going to be fucked. That's what I think is going to happen. They spend way too much. They want to be big shots. They don't want anyone to know they're suffering. They just want to display their successes. We have a cottage, we have this, yeah, but they don't tell you like that there's fucking all of Japan and Korea living in their fucking house. It's sad, man. They have some crazy secrets. They're irresponsible. So I can't be involved anymore with this. I have my own shit going on, you know? And they'll tell me how to live my life, and they're never happy with what I do. I'm not doing it right. You know, but who are you? I don't know. This is just me kind of venting to you guys. Thanks. Whoever who's listening, thank you so much. You know, we'll be back this week. This is the Monster Closet episode number 63 on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. You know, I'll touch base on this subject. I'll let you know how this works out. And I know, like, I go into kind of consciousness, and I'm trying through meditation and through therapy, and like what I feel is right is just what I feel I have to do is let this play out and not try to intervene, because it's time for a change with them. It's just what worries me is this is going to be a lot on two 65-year-old parents like my parents that don't take care of their health. All this stress is going to be tough on them, and them having to carry the burden of all these fucking lies. I don't know. Thanks, guys. I'm jamming tonight. This is going to be a good jam, man. You know, this is why I love being in a band. I love being able to play music, because it's just, I get to go and, you know, release some of this emotion with 4 other guys, right? So, I mean, I'm very fortunate, and I thank God every day for my kids, my family, for my job, for my band, everything. FrailFragment.com. This is The Monster Closet again, episode 63, available on Spotify, Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. We'll be back. Peace.
Frail Fragments, Monster Closet.